Although it was a bit jank, a bit clunky, maybe even frustrating at a few segments, I'd like to think The Evil Within was a spiritual successor to Resident Evil 4. Granted, its characters weren't exactly memorable from the start. Sebastian Castellanos, our leading man, didn't exactly have any one-liners that stood out to me. But I say forget about the characters for a moment and just focus your attention on the gameplay for now. It was pretty neat to collect weird slime and use it to upgrade Sebastian's skills, or even find weapon parts scattered throughout the environment to upgrade your weaponry. The enemies were pretty cool too, but they were tougher than a grilled steak on a Saturday afternoon. Some of the more iconic enemies, like the long-haired woman with spider-like limbs or the executioner with his weird box head, have all become prime examples for perfect video game enemies that, honestly, I think were underrated. Nevertheless, it was one of those games that you either loved or hated, and personally, I didn't think it was bad. It was, as I said previously, very clunky and felt unfair at times. It wasn't until a few years later that a friend bought me a copy of the sequel as a late gift. Trying it for the first time on console, I didn't know what to expect. The story from the first game left me with more questions than answers, but I was hoping the second game would clear it up. I'll be honest, the gameplay hasn't changed much since the first time around. Sebastian still walks and sprints in the same animations. He does have a new voice actor though, which was probably for the best.
Kidman?
Hello, Sebastian. It's been a long time.
3 years. I've been trying to track you down for 3 years.
And you thought you'd find me at the bottom of an empty bottle. Is that it?
And why are you here now, damn it?
You didn't find me because they didn't want you to.
The story revolves around Mobius, the devious corporation responsible for STEM system research in the first game, where the Beacon Mental Hospital became a living nightmare for our protagonist. After spending his days in misery and drowning his sorrows in a cliché, Kidman from the first game makes an appearance and forces him to come back once again in order to save his beloved daughter, whom he thought died in a house fire and has felt guilty about since. Struggling to get answers, Sebastian is once again thrown into the simulation world known as Union, a town that once was built for the simulated unification of humanity, but ultimately fell victim to something much more tragic and grotesque. The simulated town is filled with these disgusting infected humans that attack you on sight and will kick your fucking ass if you're not careful. They'll often chase you down once they catch your scent or sight. Just like the first game, melee combat isn't encouraged. Sebastian swings his knife at such a low velocity, he might as well be blowing raspberries in their face. He's so slow at the start as well, giving nothing more than this pathetic jog. Except, I don't even think it's a jog, it's more like he's fast walking. Sure, you can sprint to get some distance between you and your enemies, but it's not a guaranteed lifesaver. With the first game, we as players were limited to only a few enemy types. The Evil Within 2 offers a variety of different things that crawl or run after you and destroy you in a matter of seconds. There's the regular grunts that just charge after you, there's this disgusting mishmash of flesh and boobs that screeches and spews acid all over you, there's this twisted up sack of shit that jumps at you faster than a speeding bullet, just to name a few. There's also this albino infected that I swear to God is just invincible and unkillable at times. The game constantly tells you that stealth is the preferred option to getting by. Okay, I guess I'll just stealth my way through this next segment. There she is. Alright, time to stealth kill her. I'm gonna stab her. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, that didn't kill her? Okay, I guess I got... Oh, fuck, I'm dead? Oh, great. Well, what the hell just happened? I barely even had a second to react. Okay, I'm gonna try again, but this time I'll use the harpoon. That should be powerful enough to kill her. The crossbow from the first game was one of the most powerful of all. This is surely gonna do the trick. Oh, for fucking Pete's sake, how is she still alive? Oh my God. She killed me again. How am I supposed to play stealthy when you give me an enemy that can't be killed by fucking stealth? Anyways, it's a little too early for me to get into the negatives. Let me start off by saying this. The Evil Within 2 brought me way more fun and enjoyment than the first one did. It has elements of an open world game with some light exploration around the environment for supplies, ammo, resources. The communicator allows us to be able to track new signals as well, giving us even more to discover depending on where we are throughout Union. You can discover side quests, like when you help O'Neill track down the rest of his security unit that went their own way within the town.
You're a real piece of work, O'Neill. You know that?
I'm just being a realist. You can't save everybody. It's impossible. Mobius made emergency plans for a reason.
If they never made this twisted machine, they wouldn't need emergency plans in the first place.
Maybe so. But look at what they've done. It's pretty incredible.
Still a company man after all this, huh? Hope your loyalty pays off for you in the end. Because right now, it seems like they don't give a shit about you.
What do you mean? They sent you in here, didn't they? Sorry, I didn't mean to make you angry. Here. I made some more of these for you. For your troubles.
Finding resources all throughout Union is essential if you want to craft ammunition, crossbow bolts, medicine, really anything you need to survive. O'Neill is just one of the many characters we'll be covering in this video. He's a Mobius nerd who doesn't have much knowledge in combat and doesn't care for it, often regarded as a coward. Although he's more of a tech than anything, you can tell he genuinely only cares about getting out alive and making sure the others can too. Sebastian questions his trust at first, but it's the only lead we have. All throughout the town of Union, you're going to want to keep a low profile as often as possible by either sticking to bushes and limiting your sprint, or crouch walking painstakingly slow to every destination. Or if you're a sadist, I guess you could give away your position and sprint everywhere all the time. It's not a good idea, but you do you. Ammunition this time around is much more scarce than food after a hurricane. It's not like I expect to be able to carry 400 pistol rounds at all times, but I feel like it's way harder to conserve your bullets in the sequel. Enemies move so fast and abruptly, it can be hard to pinpoint an exact moment to lay down fire upon them. If you miss, every bullet you waste might as well be someone plucking a hair off your nutsack. Once you're all out, it's over. The environment and artistic style of Union is pretty creative, I'll admit. It's almost like we're in outer space with all these floating islands and chunks of earth surrounding the once unified town. In the smaller segments of the game, like whenever Stefano traps you in his weird mansion, it's also beautifully tragic with these red drapes everywhere and all of the off-putting paintings and scenery, his fucked up displays of photographic gore. It's all really creepy, and I love it that way. There's also a hub for our player to go back to and upgrade their gear, weapons, craft some new supplies, and the return of an interesting familiar face, Tatiana, the nurse from Beacon Hospital. I actually really liked her character and enjoyed how vague she is towards Sebastian, constantly saying such strange things, often out of context. But if she is someone we can look to for advice, then that's all that matters.
New knowledge requires new abilities for the challenges ahead.
If you knew something I didn't, you could have just told me and saved me the headache.
If only I could. But this is a journey you must take alone.
But I'm not alone. I found others to help me. Torres, Hoffman, O'Neill.
They are there to accompany you, but the discovery is yours alone to make.
You can use the wheelchair in the office to upgrade Sebastian's skills with that suspicious green gel. Something tells me it might just be the same weird goop shit they put in those health jars in Resident Evil 7. It's a little tedious having to sit through the animation of Sebastian slowly gathering the liquid from enemies, but other than that, you're gonna want to pick it up anytime you see it. Otherwise, you'll be stuck with Sebastian's less than qualified survival skills, and trust me, it's enough to make your goddamn blood boil sometimes. However, I don't hold anything against the game's clunkier aspects. It's the overall experience, design, and story that have kept me so invested in the universe all these years. The sequel opened my eyes to the potential that the series had to offer as a whole, and convinced me that the story of this STEM system and Sebastian's daughter being the heart of it was engaging enough to be considered one of the greats. The story varies with not one, not two, but 3 main chapters that involve major bosses. There are some sub-bosses thrown in between, but I'll get to them as I go. It was innovative for them to implement 3 villains into one game, and they all have unique traits that reflect their personalities within the environment. Like Stefano with his photography, everything around him seems so rich and enthusiastic, but dark and dismal. Theodore, who acts as some sort of divine intervention within the STEM system, has lots of fire-filled environments that represent the very circles of hell. The hooded woman, who can milk bend, apparently. It's all super creative, and it adds more enjoyability to the length of the game. They put in way more effort this time around, and it shows in lots of ways. But we'll cover them later, as the very first major villain we're introduced to is none other than Stefano, the murder photographer who has been teasing us all throughout our quest in Union. He was an interesting villain, and I liked the concept behind his gruesome artwork. The idea of someone replicating death in an infinite loop upon another poor soul is infinitely scary to me, and knowing that he could basically freeze time at any point proves that he could kill Sebastian at any moment.
So sorry, but you've been outbid. Fear radiates from you. It's beautiful, but not yet finished.
Just before you face him, you'll have to fight that buzzsaw bitch that chased you in the beginning. She's not too difficult unless you're a horrible shot like me. I'm not kidding, I went to shoot her with my crossbow like twice and I missed both times. What the fuck am I, blind or something? Anyways, after you kill her, you make your way into City Hall to activate the signal emitter thingy-majigger, and then you come face to face with Stefano.
Stefano.
He shows you his greatest creation yet, Obscura. Hate this thing.
Meet my beautiful
Obscura.
Obscura.
That was the name of the damn thing.
You gotta be kidding me.
An interesting boss battle, honestly. Not only is she disgusting and horrifying to look at, but she's so intricately designed. Here's how it goes. The emitter will activate on a timer. If Obscura freezes the emitter, the timer stops. Plain and simple. In order to keep it going, you have to find where Obscura runs off to and shoot her stupid fucking face until the timer resumes. As long as you keep your distance and go at a steady pace, she's not that difficult to finish off. But, whoa, wait a minute. There's another? There's 2 Obscuras? Yeah, this is probably where my negative insight will start to rear its ugly ass end. Forgive me if you find any faults in any of my complaints, but it's hard for me to ignore them. There are multiple repeated mini-bosses. Not only does Obscura come back when you're destroying the paintings, but in the streets, the Guardian comes back as well. Of course, I'm pretty sure this only happens if you activate the resonance point. It's pretty fucking irritating trying to get to point A and B when I don't have enough ammo or distance to defend myself against the enemies. The Guardian doesn't stop running, causing you to lose stamina often. There's no dodge or block mechanic as far as I know, unless you upgrade your skills some more. God damn it, all I want to do is help this Mobius operative, but I'm literally surrounded by bullshit. I've got the Guardian in here and 17 fucking grunts. There's no way I can defend myself. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, I'm so fucking dead.
Hey, you over there!
Do you not see what's happening behind me? Well, I guess it's fine, because they're all coming for me anyway. This fucking game. Let's talk about Obscura again. You don't have to fight her the second time. I discovered that so long as you stay low and speedrun your way through the segment, you can get the key and make it to the exit before she can cause any serious harm. You do that, and finally, you destroy the last piece of artwork belonging to Stefano. This grants Sebastian access to the theater, where our foe awaits. The first trial is a little tricky, but what you're supposed to do is simple. Stay out of the light. If that giant eyeball lens catches sight of you for too long, you'll get crushed like an ant trying to run along a sidewalk. Although it's a bit tedious, this segment isn't hard. I was just running out of patience, so I overestimated my runs a couple of times and watched Sebastian die hilariously over and over. We also meet these new flaming fuckheads that light themselves on fire and charge after you like a crazed homeless man. They're a lot tougher than the usual grunts, but they can easily be avoided if you use the shotgun. Then, at last, we meet the third and final threat inside Union, Father Theodore.
And I will have the power of the core.
I already know who has Lily.
Yes. And Myra won't give her up so easily. I can lead you away from your own darkness. I can lead you to Lily.
Sorry, I'm not a follower.
So be it.
Yet another Mobius employee that went crazy with the power inside STEM. Consumed with rage, he represents himself as some sort of divine authority, like he's the ruler of all that the STEM inhabits. He tries to make a deal with Sebastian. Either he uses Lily to forever hold the power of the core in his very hands, or he will take it by force, plain and simple. Really, it's unfortunate for Sebastian to be hit with all of this nonsense when he only came here to save his daughter and do what any loving father should, take care of her. It's crippling how often we see our hero in these disgustingly awful situations, and it's more than a personal matter. He must stop this from expanding, and Lily is the key to everything. We're then introduced to yet another Mobius member named Esmeralda Torres, who honestly provides a pretty solid character arc when she partners up with Sebastian. I enjoyed seeing the two of them fight together and get to know each other.
Thanks. Don't know if I could have done that on my own. I'm Esmeralda Torres.
I'm...
Sebastian. I know.
You do?
It looks like we got him for now. We should make a move before more show up.
How did I wind up here? And who are you?
No time for 20 questions. My safe house isn't too far.
Got it. I'll just...
Get under!
Whoa, you alright? Let me
Get your
help.
ass through before I drop it on your head.
Okay, I've got it.
Thanks. You need a break after that, old man?
Come on. I'm not that old.
I forgot to mention another Mobius member named Sykes. He's an okay guy, but he's not very helpful. Sure, he helps you reset the server so that you can gain access to weapon caches throughout Union, but he doesn't get off his lazy ass, ever. This is the only character in the game that I thought was completely pointless to save. He contributes nothing to the main story. Of course, if you're looking to get a nice reward from helping him, you'll unlock the silenced pistol. This makes it so much easier to get by areas undetected. A very handy surprise tool that will help us later on, as Mickey Mouse would say. Jesus, I almost forgot to mention this fucking abomination. Ever hear of a cum dumpster? Well, now you've seen one. I mean, what the actual fuck is this thing? The curdled milk monster? I tried to sneak my way past him, but the ooey gooey bastard started slapping me with his wet hands. Ugh, fucking nasty. I don't want that shit on me. You're not supposed to fight him. You just have to run around his slaps and get to the next area safely. As frustrating as the game can be at times, I can't lie, it's a lot of fun. Most of the joy comes into play when you start upgrading Sebastian's abilities and finding certain keys hidden throughout the game to unlock the lockers in your office, granting you access to more useful items. Upgrading your weapons is also a huge feature this time around. It's no longer tied to green gel. Instead, you pick up parts in the town and use these to increase the fluency and handiness of your arsenal. Trust me, you're gonna want to do this as often as possible. I played on normal difficulty and I found the enemies to be tougher than grass stains. With the help of your upgraded weapons and skills, however, you will persevere. There's a lot of fighting in these final chapters of the game, but this is where your skills will be put to the ultimate test. Your next objective is to find O'Neill, but something isn't right. It seems that Theodore has gotten to him first and turned him into some sort of monstrosity.
Stay out of my way, Sebastian.
O'Neill.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you angry.
I don't know how that hasn't been used for more memes.
I helped him hide, and in exchange, he gave me a new life.
A life as a slave.
You'll never understand. For that, you'll burn!
His flamethrower packs quite a fucking punch. Oof! Jesus Christ. Okay, I guess I can't play Ring Around the fucking Rosie with him. He's not a hard boss. Once you utilize the nitrogen tanks and hit him with all you have, he goes down in a matter of minutes. It was a huge blow to our character to learn that Theodore had turned O'Neill into this monster, and we had no choice but to put him out of this misery. After killing him, he tells you to destroy the machine in the next room in order to draw Theodore out of hiding. A lot happens within these next few minutes, so I'm gonna summarize. Sebastian is too ridden with guilt to confront Theodore, which is used against him. Desperate to fight back, Sebastian draws his gun on Theodore and fires, only to realize he had just shot Torres by accident. Oh!
You shot me, Sebastian. Why?
No.
Oh my god, I don't remember that happening. When he wakes up, he discovers that she still fought to keep him alive so he could save Lily, sacrificing her own life in the process.
I'm sorry, Sebastian.
I didn't mean to make you angry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done with that joke.
I shot her.
The bullet wound was superficial. She died from injuries sustained in a battle with those things.
Damn it. She didn't have to die like that. She was a good soldier.
Sebastian, who are you looking at? Soon afterwards, Hoffman creates a portable field emitter which will allow us to get inside of Theodore's final hiding place, the tower. This part is pretty cool. You're supplied with a lot of extra ammunition to take on the fire guys, and it gives you that big action moment that the game needed. Suddenly, the emitter starts to act up, and the two make a valiant effort to run for the door. Yukiko is grabbed, but Sebastian just barely escapes. Now we're officially alone again. Facing Theodore, he presents 3 challenges to us. The chainsaw guy from the first Evil Within game. Wow, never thought I'd see that piece of shit again. This segment is easy. All you have to do is run. Then for absolutely no reason at all, Sebastian turns into a fucking psychopath. He takes the chainsaw and uses it to cut the poor dude in half. Holy shit, I wasn't expecting that. It's pretty badass, actually. I'm gonna give them a point for that.
Fuck you.
Just like the nightmares from long ago, the game switches formulas here. Now we have to fight the Executioner, the box-headed son of a bitch that horrified players the first time around. You just need to kill 3 of them, and then we're on to the third and final trial, the Spider Lady. Fans remember her as being the scariest enemy in the entire game, and she's seemingly invulnerable to all attacks except those that stun her. I can't lie, it took me a couple of attempts to kill her, but what you're supposed to do is time her walk cycles in between turning the gas valves. Then you have to quickly run your ass over to the switch on the wall and burn her ass alive. This shows Theodore that we're not afraid anymore of his ridiculous games, and that his power is exempt now that Sebastian has conquered his fears. Myra appears once more and kills the bastard. It's almost comedic though, I'll admit. First, Theodore gets impaled. Then, he stabs Myra in the neck. And then, Myra just stabs him one more time and he falls to his death. Jesus, why did so many stabbings occur like that? I should mention that before this, there's a really touching moment between Sebastian and Myra when he feels as though he is powerless to save Lily. The two of them speak and honestly gave off some pretty damn good performances.
Now I'm so messed up. I'm talking to an hallucination. I failed you. I couldn't save Lily from the fire. I failed everyone.
That's not true, Sebastian. There was no fire to save her from. You know this now.
But I couldn't protect her.
How could you? Mobius are a force of nature. What you're doing, it's like blaming yourself for an earthquake. It wasn't your fault. And this time, you can save her.
Some of the cinematic moments in this game capture the perfect emotion and even made me tear up a few times. They did not have to go this hard with the storyline, but trust me, they really did. But crying like a twinkle toes will have to wait. It's finally time. The last person with power inside the STEM system remains, and she's the only wall in our path to saving Lily and escaping. After some bullshit and a somewhat decent mini-boss fight, we're about to bring this journey to an end. Myra attacks us, leaving us no choice but to fight back, and oh my god, this is fucking awesome.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you angry.
Well, they certainly didn't pull any punches in the gross category. What the hell did Myra even turn into, a fucking frost giant? I wish I didn't make that joke about jizz earlier, because now the game is just mocking me. Her boss battle is... well, it's a battle, especially if you don't have any extra ammo or supplies like I did. It wouldn't have taken me so long to defeat Myra if I had geared up better, but thankfully she throws these spiders down for you to conveniently stomp their guts in and take their resources. After much patience and timing, I finished her off. From here on out, it's all about the endgame. Sebastian races to the house in order to find Lily, while we suddenly take control of Kidman and unleash an onslaught onto the Mobius Corporation. You can't run around or anything while shooting, you're forced to just peek out and take pop shots when you have a window to do so. Innovative, I must say. They didn't have to make this scene interactive in any way, it could have just been a cutscene, yet they went that extra mile to incorporate it. Most AAA titles wouldn't even consider that today. After this, there's a lot of exposition and ridiculous banter from the Administrator, probably the most useless villain in the entire game. Even when Kidman pulls a gun and kills his two henchmen, he doesn't so much as flinch. Wow, he must be a real badass villain that we'll have to face at the end in another epic shootout. Oh, okay, never mind. Kidman activated the neural chip inside his head and he shit himself to death. Well, okay, so why did they make it seem like he was gonna be a tough nut to crack? Anyways, with the Administrator dead and Sebastian just barely escaping the clutches of Union's collapse, the story has finally come to an end. We get a heartwarming cutscene with Lily and it feels like a heavy weight has just been lifted from the player's shoulders. Holy shit, an actual good ending for a horror game? Not that that's rare, but in recent years, it's been lacking in a few different areas. For once, I feel relieved knowing that this game's story has officially come to a close and gives Sebastian the proper ending that he deserves, a lifetime of happiness with his daughter. That's it, guys. That's The Evil Within 2. I'm aware there were quite a few things I didn't cover, like Stefano's boss fight or the weird singing lady that traps you in her strange dimension, but understand that I don't have all the time in the world, and I had filmed these segments already previously, but my editor was giving me a tumor, so I decided to unfortunately skip them. It took me a while to cover everything, but I did it. And honestly, even though I found myself frustrated with it a few times, I can't shit all over it. It's a redemption story. It highlights all of the amazing mechanics and elements from the first game, but amplifies them to a higher degree. This feels like how the first game should have played, and it gives me hope that maybe this isn't the last we hear of the STEM system. Perhaps someone else will fall victim to its dark and powerful imagination, infecting the system with their corruption and decay. Let's just hope it doesn't involve Sebastian again, because after beating this game, I feel awful for him. He deserves more than a break at this point. Well, that was The Evil Within 2, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone. Next up, I'll be covering the infamous Dead Rising, a zombie sandbox game that has left me intrigued for years due to its addicting gameplay and wacky story elements. Stay tuned, and we shall dive in together. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our channel, and thanks for checking out this video. Leave a like, comment, and since we're on the subject, enjoy yourself. Thanks for watching the content, folks.